gently. This is the best time to tell me. I think my name's on it.
I thought it was better to ask for forgiveness.
That's really good, Aaron. Oh, okay, we'll hold that on standby. I know you might be that'd be so fun.
Is there no more?
Guys, just get out there.
Good evening, everyone. It gives us so much pleasure to welcome all of our guests here this evening, from our Dean, Dr. Jackson, our Medical Director, Dr. Labib, our speaker, dedicated faculty, instructors, and staff, and to all of our dear students, parents, and loved ones. We are so honored by your presence to celebrate this momentous occasion.
We would like to take this time to introduce our departmental faculty and staff who have instructed, mentored, and guided the students this year. First, I'd like to introduce Mark Milliron, our didactic director. Erin Geisbers, our didactic coordinator. Shannon Rivera, our other didactic coordinator. And we have our clinical team with Kristen Batla, our clinical director. Lauren Bolda, our clinical coordinator. Charles Wynn, our other clinical coordinator. And unable to make it tonight is our assessment director, Rasha Abdrapu. I don't know if we introduced ourselves either. Yeah. But I'm the program director with the PA program here at Loma Linda. This is Catherine Ohms, our department chair. And we are also joined tonight by some of our course instructors. So we would like to introduce Dr. Fu. And I'd also like to introduce, just walking through the door, Dr. Bethania Siviero. Professors Wilson, Cortez, and Cheney are tuning in via live stream and send their well wishes to all of you this evening. And lastly, we could not have this event without our wonderful staff who assisted to make everything possible tonight. So I'd first off like to introduce Kenneth Shaddix. And Lillian Luna. Sandra Bailey. And Valerie Mosqueda is not with us tonight, but she is part of that amazing team as well.
So the jacketing ceremony is a momentous and exciting occasion that signifies the beginning of students' journeys to achieve the long white coat when they are full-fledged physician assistants. It also symbolizes professionalism, the humbling responsibility of caring for patients, and trust, which they must earn from patients. Indeed, tonight is a night of great celebration. After the fast and challenging pace of the didactic year, the distance Zoom learning, and all the COVID-related changes you faced this past year. So to the class of 2022, we are so proud of your accomplishments thus far.
Now, as you venture into your clinical year, may we remind you of the 7 shared values of one Loma Linda as you lay hands on your patients. Compassion. Reflect the love of God through caring, respect, and empathy. Excellence. Provide service that exceeds expectations and is safe, reliable, and efficient. And humility. Put yourself and self-importance aside for the greater good of others.
Integrity. Carry out actions with honesty and trustworthiness. Justice. Commit to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Teamwork. Collaborate to achieve a shared purpose. And lastly, wholeness. Grow in health. Live with purpose in community. And remember that you are loved by God.
What a momentous evening. You've come a long way, class of 2022. You've demonstrated resilience, perseverance, and adaptability. And all of that will do you well as you move into your clinical year. So we look forward to that which you will achieve from here on and throughout your career. And the reason you're here is because of those who were sitting beside you, in front of you, or behind you, the family members, the friends, and loved ones who put up with you during this last year. Probably cooked you some food, maybe washed your clothes, watched your children. I did hear one over there, the class of 2041 is somewhere over there now. Yes. Or maybe they just sat quietly and listened to you moan and kvetch. But whatever they did, that support got you here. And I don't want you to forget that. I don't want you to forget them as you continue your journey. Also, I don't want you to forget that you've been called by God to this calling. This is very important what you're doing, the care of others with compassion, humility, integrity. All of those things that you heard just a few moments ago are really what will make you a great practitioner. Sure, you'll have the skills, but what would be more important is how do you apply those skills to people in need, to vulnerable populations. So I want to encourage you to keep that in mind as you go forward. Yes, be celebratory tonight. The jacketing ceremony is an important rite of passage. It recognizes and acknowledges that you have indeed achieved. And now we recognize your right to move to the next level. And with that level comes responsibility. And we know that you're up to it. And we look forward to all of that with you. And we know that God has called you to this moment for this particular function and for this particular discipline and profession to bring healing to those with whom you'll come in contact and to make their lives better. I mean, we make a better world one person at a time. And so I call you to that, and I want you to remember that as you go forward. Let us pray. Oh God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come. In front of us is the future. In front of us is a group who are now moving forward. A group that has heard your calling to this particular moment and to this particular profession. So we ask your blessing upon them this evening. Let them celebrate. Let them be happy. Let them understand that they have indeed accomplished. But there is more to come. And humility will be that which guides them and drives them forward. They have worked with excellence, and now comes their compassion, their humility, their drive to do that which you have called them to do. So we thank you for all who are here tonight. We ask that you will bless us all and be with us and be with the class of 2022 as they go to the next step in their journey and as they follow your voice to lead them to that which you'll have them do. So tonight we give them off to you, and we ask that you'll support their family as well. Hold all of us in your hands. This has been a difficult time. There have been losses, there have been disappointments, there have been a lot of things. But with your love and with your support, we have come through all of this as a people. So we thank you for this evening, and we thank you for this prayer, and we ask this prayer in your Son Jesus' name. Amen.
You are the word of the beginning, one with God, the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation equal, now and forever you reign. Yours is the kingdom, yours is the glory, yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is, what a powerful name it is, the name of Jesus Christ my King. What a powerful name it is, nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is, the name of Jesus.
Hi, my name's Alex Black, and this is Ryan Wagner. I'm the president of the PA program, or the class president of the PA program. I'm so sorry. And Ryan is the vice president. So we just have a couple awards to give out. I just want to say everyone in this class has achieved so much and worked so hard to get to this point, especially considering the challenges of this last year. We wanted to recognize a few people who went above and beyond to help our class and to brighten our experiences here at LLU. And so Ryan's going to announce the first one.
First up, we have Shelby Pfeiffer. Shelby's been a very gracious host. Thank you, Shelby. And next up, we have Michael Bardo for Best Zoom Blunders. And next we have Theo for being the best photographer in the class. He's made the montage and he's compiled all the videos for us. Thank you, Theo.
Okay, so the last two is going to be Rachel Buthorn for keeping track of each week, updating our calendar, and always being willing to help. And last but not least, Ryan Wagner for creating and sharing so much study material, making sure we have a place to put it when the drive is full. Thank you.
Don't go quite yet, Alex. I have a few awards here, and these awards were given out for the Chapel Awards for the School of Allied Health this year. And we actually awarded Alex the Physician Assistant Scholarship Award, and that came with a monetary gift as well. So congratulations, Alex. She's been great as a class president. Our faculty advisor can definitely attest, and the students, and we just really appreciate her for dealing with faculty as well as students at times. So Alex, you are the greatest, so thank you. The other SHP award was presented to Rachel Buthorn, the Sonia Naide Scholarship Award that came also with monetary gifts. So we'd like to recognize Rachel. Come on up. As many of you know, one of the highlights of the didactic year at the end of the year is to spend a few days in Mexico for a mission trip. And we have a video for you to just highlight what the students had done with the community that we have in Ensenada, Baja Ensenada. So please enjoy the video.
God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. I think that we all have really amazing, diverse backgrounds that we each come from. You know, you always think you have it really bad, and then you come here and you see these people that have smiles on their faces in such a hard situation. And then I just feel blessed that I'm here to, frankly, just be here and see them. And I know that we're here to help them, but in a way it feels like a blessing on me as well.
To be honest, I was worried about coming out here because I feel like I'm behind on studying. I was like, I'm going to study the whole time, and then I sort of just got sucked into like a good movie. So being reminded again of like why I want to be a PA too. Just the strength of just being out there and being a positive force in the world.
So I wanna live like you love like you love, wanna love others the way that you love me. I wanna live like you love like you love, wanna love others the way that you love me.
Through all our codes to find codes to donate. I don't think anyone's gonna want that. You know, she looked at me, she's like, Mija, they will take anything and they will be so grateful for it. And I really don't think I understood those words from my mom until I was back in the truck yesterday, packing, like, getting all these clothes away, and they were like grabbing them, and they were so happy, and it was clothes that we necessarily didn't like need or want, but it was something that brought them so much joy.
But I think as the year has gone on and we get so sucked into just the craziness of school, it's just really easy to lose sight of all of that, and instead we're thinking about just trying to pass tests and survive and, you know, like what job I can get and so on and so forth. So just being here has really made me remember that that was like one of my goals.
must always finish its work so that you may be more mature and complete, not lacking in anything. Blessed is the man who perseveres under trial, because when he has stood the test, he receives the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. Everybody here has their own trials and hardships, and everybody brings their own thing to the table, and that's what makes, I think, our group so great, is because we all have our own story to tell, and we're all going through school, which is super, super hard. When we come here, we experience even different hardships, and we see hardships that other people are facing. And I just think that it's a good reminder to lean on God in those moments. And when we're lacking in something, don't think of it as a fault of our own, but an opportunity for God to mold us into the person that we're supposed to be later on. So it's wisdom or faith or strength or whatever it is in that moment. You know, God's always there. We have everybody around us too. He's got mountains of olives in his hands. He's got mountains of olives in his hands. He's got mountains of olives in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for coming here. I'm pretty sure if we just look around, if you just look next to you, you know 100% that the people sitting in this room are the people who have made it possible for us to get to this point. You're probably the go-to people, like Dr. Jackson said. You know, you're probably our babysitters, you're probably our cooks, you're probably our laundry people. You know, you're in this room for sure. There's nothing easy about PA school. There's nothing easy. Just getting here, it's hard. We had to do 2,000 hours just to apply. That's minimum. A lot of us had a lot more experience than that. Myself, I came from a biology background, so I didn't really have a medical background. So I had to leave a career that I had already started. I went to work in an emergency department as a scribe, and I learned a lot of things really, really fast. And once you finally make it into to that point where you got the 2,000 hours, then you got to apply. Applying was really, really hard. Just all the paperwork, all the emails, all the forms, everything that you got to do. So just to get into PA school was really, really hard. I think I saw a stat somewhere that said about 32% of people who apply to PA school actually make it into PA school, compared to about 40% who apply to med school make it into med school. So if you're here, you're definitely part of that smaller percentage of people who make it into PA school, so definitely give yourselves a round of applause. And for all of us, you know, once we're in PA school, we get that, we got that phone call. We're all happy. We made it into PA school, and it just feels like everything is uphill. You know, we make it to that first day over there in one of the amphitheaters. I forgot the name right now. But we make it there, and everyone's so happy. And 2 weeks go by, and we take a derm test, and it was like, what did we get ourselves into, you know? It was really hard. It was really hard. I got halfway through the first quarter, and I really didn't know if I was going to make it through. I remember there was a point halfway through where, for whatever reason, I was remodeling the apartment that I'm living in, and so I was sleeping on the floor. Still, because I had just done the floors, and I was trying to study all night, something that I learned really quickly I wasn't going to be able to do anymore. That's what I used to do in college back in the days, you know, just study all night and do fine, but this time it wasn't going to work, and I was breaking down, and I started texting everybody, please pray, and I'm sure that my classmates have been there, you know, texting people in the middle of the night, please pray. And so I just want to say thank you. Thank you, family. Thank you, my girlfriend, my kids. Just thank you for being so supportive, you know. Thank you for the professors, Professor Milliron. I know you're the math guru, and thank you for all the curves that you provided us. So, no, but really, we have been through a lot as a class. We've grown together. We've grown to love each other. Each of us had our own form of studying. Some of us had to study all the time, and some of us knew that we would burn out too fast if we studied all the time, right? I know for me, what saved me was a little bit of pickleball, starting second quarter, pickle boys and pickle girls. You know who you are. I do want to say thank you to Jason, to, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting names right now, but you know who you are. There's a group there that really helped me out when I needed, you know, we started out on Zoom, and Zoom was hard. Zoom was hard for us. I think not touching people, not being there, smiling, it was hard to get those grades, but as soon as we came together as a class and we started to motivate each other, it just all kind of seemed to fall into place. And so I'm really grateful to the university that they finally gave us that opportunity to come back. It definitely helped us to get to where we are today. And as you saw in the videos, it looks like we've learned a lot, and I know we have. They keep telling us that we're the smartest, or maybe not the smartest, but we'll know the most information, right, at this point that we'll ever know, I guess because we specialize in certain places, but, and it looks like we've done a lot. You've seen us working on mannequins and things, but we definitely have a lot to go, and we're looking forward to this next year, and have all the confidence in the world that these classmates are gonna rock it. You know, I mean, you guys are all really, really inspiring, and I just want to say thank you to all of you guys, and I hope that we could all keep in touch, and and just thank you again, once again, to our family who has supported us.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. For those who do not know me, my name is Chelsea Bajut, and I have been given the honor of introducing our guest lecturer of the year. This is an award selected by all of the students in our class. This individual graduated from Loma Linda University Medical School in 2017. Earlier this year, Dr. Phelps passed his qualifying radiology boards and is currently finishing his last year as a radiology resident. He will be starting his fellowship in women's imaging at the University of Washington in July 2022. Please join me in welcoming our guest lecturer of the year, my better half, Dr. Matthew Phelps.
Hello, okay, it works. Hello everyone, I'm Foya Tabangary, and although you do not see my name printed on the program, I am not an imposter. I really go to school here. I'm very excited. It's okay, totally fine, don't worry about it. I'm very excited to be introducing our guest speaker this year. I don't even see, oh, there he is. We all love and appreciate this individual for his liveliness, comedic storytelling abilities, and passion for his practice. His explanations of some of the psychiatric diagnoses were so detailed, I think he had us all convinced that we had one of the disorders at one point in the quarter. Now, I could go on and on about this individual's impressive accomplishments, such as being chief resident during his psychiatry residency at Loma Linda, and the fact that he works as staff psychiatrist at Patton Hospital, and everyone would be very impressed. But these are just a few of the small things that make Dr. Ron Fu so great. So please give me a hand and help me welcome our guest lecturer this year, Dr. Fu.
All right. Not used to having a mic here. Okay. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. And thank you for coming. Although we have faculty and honored guests amongst us, I'd like to address the first part directly to the class of our newly minted, or soon to be newly minted clinicians. So, it's been several months since you last saw me. But do you remember what you did every single time you came into lecture? The first thing you did? Quiz. 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 Why should today be any different? So everyone logged into Canvas. The pretest is already loaded. It's actually not loaded. There's no quiz. Is it on? Let's see this thing. Can you go on the side? Aha! There's no quiz. Look familiar? Jacket and ceremony quiz, right? So, really, what's a chit? We'll cover what's a chit. You know, it could be fortuitous misspelling, a child, a kitten or cub. It could be a token or a voucher to exchange, or does it really matter? I mean, does it really matter here? Probably not so much. And then there's this quote. It's pretty famous, and some of you might already recognize where it's from, right? And we will talk about that in a second. And then we'll talk about detours. What is a detour? And like most of the pre-post tests that we did in class, the actual points don't matter. The answers actually don't matter so much as the fact that we talked about them. That way you remember the information, okay? So when I was asked to speak for this jacketing ceremony, I'm gonna be, perfectly frank and tell you the first thing that popped into my mind, and it was this. Because you asked a psychiatrist to talk about jacketing, and I'm like, there's a ceremony, usually it's a takedown, what are you talking about? No, there's no takedown. I have never used a straitjacket once in my career, at all. We don't use straitjackets anymore. But, especially when you work here. And if you don't recognize this, that is not Arkham Asylum, okay? The top left picture is Patton State Hospital prior to 1923, before an earthquake took it out. It so badly damaged the buildings, all the buildings were razed, okay? And the other pictures are more contemporary pictures. Notice that there is a 14-foot high fence with concertina wire surrounding the secure treatment area. And when I started working there fresh out of residency, well, let me put it this way. You don't just start working. There's this little detour that they call orientation. Now, orientation at Patton State Hospital is not 4 hours. It's not 4 days. It's 4 weeks. Monday through Friday, every day seemingly, with mandatory signed-in attendance at each hour, with a quiz at the end of each presentation, which explains my fondness for quizzes, right? Now, it was thousands and thousands of PowerPoint slides, you know, including things like paperwork, and my favorite, administrative creative writing, also known as paperwork. Now, these slides were incredible quality, technically specific, full of high-yield information. This is a reproduction of an actual slide from the Human Resources Department. I'm still trying to figure out exactly what you were trying to say. So what I do is I sit in the back, I keep my mouth shut, and I keep repeating this over and over to myself for 4 weeks. I'm getting paid for this. I'm getting paid for this. Easy money, easy money. Okay? So between the mouthfuls of trail mix that kept me awake, by the way, I gained 10 pounds. The only time you should eat trail mix is on a trail, right? Sometimes I did find out that there was interesting information, like this. This is a slide for actual search patterns used in crime scene investigations. When there is contraband suspected on a unit at Patton State Hospital, the staff order a shakedown of the unit, and they have to search every nook and cranny for contraband. And these are the patterns that we use. So I finished Patton State Hospital's orientation, and soon enough, I wear what I call the setup. And this setup is exactly the same thing that I've worn since then. You can see my badge. Then there's the distress beacon that if you pull it, will announce on the overhead where you are, who's getting your kicked, and lights will flash in the vicinity so that staff can come rescue you, right? There's also a hand sanitizer that says Purell, that as you well know is probably not Purell, because that's gone a long time ago. And there's this horrible tequila smelling stuff that's probably the grade of Patron plastic, if not, not exactly silver. And finally, there's the chit, which is a small coin voucher. Now, why do we have a chit? That's because every door is locked at Patton State Hospital. Every door inside the secure treatment area is locked. Keys are a huge risk. They can get lost, they can get duplicated. So keys are tightly controlled, so much so that Patton keys don't leave Patton. So when you show up in the morning to go into the treatment area, you pass through the sally ports, and you exchange your chit with the Department of Corrections office for a set of keys. Then you enter and you use the keys. And when you leave, the same thing happens, okay? You exchange your keys for your chit. So in other words, the chits are the outside voucher for the inside keys. Does this make sense? Okay. You definitely do not want to lose your keys on the inside, because they will lock that compound down and no one, repeat, no one will leave or enter until they find those keys. The gates are frozen, quote unquote. And I've seen 2 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours of the gates being frozen. Hundreds of people on the inside waiting to get out, hundreds of people on the outside waiting to get in. You do not want to lose your keys, right? On the other hand, you don't want to lose your chit either. On so many levels. The consequences, you can read them. Temporary chit issue for that day. You had to notify your supervisor by email. You had to run over to corrections to get a temporary chit. By the way, corrections headquarters is a quarter-mile from any Sally Port. You return that chit at the end of the day, another quarter-mile hike, and then you follow the paperwork. Now, if you lose that chit permanently, it's $15 for that tiny little coin. And of course, repeated chit loss is considered a professional deficit, with notation on your permanent employee record, and can become subject to progressive discipline. Well, you can guess what happens if you work long enough. You lose your chit, right? So one Monday morning, I go to the Sally Port. I reach for my chit on the setup. It's not there. Even worse, I know I saw I had it that morning because I had difficulty putting the setup on the belt that morning. So I'm standing there in the Sally Port and totally dreading the detour of having to do this whole temporary chit thing. And this is what it feels like, which may be a touch melodramatic.
I wish none of this had happened. So do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
Well, you know what I've got to do with my time, right? I'm going to do this. I've got to retrace my steps as it starts raining, because of course it would start raining. The quarter-mile back to my car, and since I parked in gravel, and I'm looking for a chit the size of gravel, I know I'm going to be having a tough time of it. But then, maybe orientation will pay off. I've been trained how to look for stuff. Eyes to the ground, eyes to the ground. Start to retrace my steps. You know, I don't know if I actually lost it in the gravel or I lost it somewhere else, so I'm retracing my steps, back and forth, back and forth. Then I see something. It's somebody's phone. Now, everyone here knows how important our phones are, right? Our lives are on our phones these days. So you can imagine what it feels like, or maybe you actually know, when you lose your phone. So my first thought was, I wonder how much I can get for that thing on eBay. No, I'm totally kidding. That's not my first thought. That's my second thought. My first thought was, I'm going to find this phone to bring to Lost and Found. I'm going to make someone's day. Someone's going to get their lives back because they're going to go to the hospital police to Lost and Found and get their phone. So I pick it up. Wait a minute. That's my phone. I'm holding my phone. This really is my phone. It must have fallen out of my pocket on the way in. Then the realization strikes. If I hadn't taken the detour of having to search for my lost chit, I probably would have lost my phone. Therefore, losing something was the key to finding something greater. And this is just the smallest examples, right? This story is just, a token of it. But life is full of detours. Didn't get the rotation you wanted, that's a detour. Your grade is an opportunity to learn or improve, detour, right? Your performance on rounds, not good enough, that's a detour. Your clinic that you go to not satisfying or fulfilling, that's a detour. Your relationship, not what you envisioned, that's a detour. Ultimately, the detours are your journey. So what are you going to decide to do with those detours? Your path in clinic, in life, is not going to be linear. There will be hiccups, there will be detours in both your clinical and personal lives. So it's really up to you to make the detours make you a better clinician and a better person. And the most important thing, right, before I close out my remarks, when you get your jacket, don't forget to wash that jacket regularly. Okay, because when I show up as your patient, the first thing I'm going to do is look at the end of the sleeves. Right? So just remember that. So thank you for inviting me, and God bless.
I'm just going to do a little redecorating real quick. Right, so the moment we've all been waiting for, the jacketing ceremony. We are going to be calling your name in alphabetical order as it appears on the program. And I ask that you anticipate where you're going to be called. Line up right over here with the individual or individuals who will be jacketing you. And then you'll progress right here where you'll be jacketed, and meet Professor Ohms right over here where you'll get your picture taken. Starting with Chelsea Bajet. Chelsea Bajet says her most memorable moment was the moment she realized she was in PA school was the night before an exam. She started to cry. After 30 seconds, she realized she didn't have time to cry, wiped her tears, and she continued studying for 4 hours.
Michael Bardo. Michael says the most memorable moments he had were those very first 5 minutes of class that he had in the program.
Aaron Barrow. Aaron's most memorable moment was being the only one that didn't go back on the diagnostic text final exam.
Alex Black. Alex's most memorable moment was being nominated for class president by Professor Burkett. It's been a wild ride, she says, and she's glad we made it.
Kanan Brown. Kanan says his most memorable moment was leaving back home to Vegas for the weekend during finals week. He was nervous because of how many exams they had to take starting that Monday. It felt nice to live life on the edge a little bit. It only turned out to be a positive, memorable moment because he scored very well on all of the finals that week.
If he had done poorly, he probably wouldn't be telling the story.
Rachel Buthorn. Rachel says, to review for the summative exam, we had been taking turns making cahoots over each body system, staying after lecture once per week to go over it. This was the most recent time we convinced a few other people from the cohort to participate, and it was such fun. We laughed at our mistakes, we discussed correct answers, shared funny ways to remember things like pterygium versus penguicula. Your pterodactyl flies, but your penguin can't. That was courtesy of Leslie. She's proud to be a part of this amazing group and excited to see how the clinical year will shape the way we each practice.
Donna Sentinel. Donna's most memorable moment was when she hosted a Kahoot quiz and her classmates were up in arms about the difficulty of the questions.
Cassandra Crumley. Cassandra's most memorable moment was when Professor Wilson said she was the nicest girl in the class, and everyone agreed.
Ricardo Escobar III. Ricky's most memorable moment experience for him was when 3 other classmates and he ran an ER simulation at the Medical Simulation Center at Centennial Complex. Working with Carolina, and Blake to keep a mannequin character alive, injured during a car accident, was a huge rush. But most importantly, in that moment, he realized that his classmates and he had chosen a profession that is not for me focused. Instead, it is patient focused. And the best part is we get to do it all as a team.
Leslie Felder. Leslie's greatest memories were interacting with her professors and peers when she returned to campus. She enjoyed the late night studying and the laughter.
Daniel Gonzalez. My most memorable moment was when we went to our Mexico trip. It was a blessing, a pleasure, and a great teaching moment when we cared for real patients. Also, all the great laughs and memorable moments I had with my classmates on that trip.
Carolina Granados. Carolina says her most memorable moments were the class beach trip during cardio week, which obviously was scheduled when they didn't have class.
Gilda Grab. Gilda's most memorable moment was diagnosing herself with gallstones and getting to see them in their ultrasound class.
Carolyn Hensler. Carolyn remembers all of the delirious nights of studying with her second family and being Craig's favorite man on the Mexico trip.
Chelsea Hess. Chelsea says her favorite memory was when I had the privilege to treat my first patient with hypertension in Mexico, with the supervision of Dr. Ohms, of course. Although we were limited in resources, we made the most of what we had. Just a little act like this, I'm sure, meant the world to this lady. In addition, another fun memory was when the churro man in Mexico let me help him make churros for everyone. Best churros I've ever had in my life.
Blake Homan. Blake says, my favorite memory was developing an unhealthy addiction to pickleball and finding a group of people who are now my best friends.
Jason Hewling. Jason's most memorable moment of didactic year is studying.
Chelsea Kiggerell. Chelsea writes, my most memorable moment, there's many that are memorable, but one in particular comes to mind. One evening, I was in the anatomy lab with 2 or 3 classmates in an open lab session. There were very few of us on this particular evening, and we were working on a cadaver, learning the brachial plexus. Suddenly, a pacemaker went off, started beeping. We all jumped and looked up at each other. Apparently, these can still go off once in a while. Nonetheless, it was pretty creepy.
Sean Lawrence. Sean writes, my most memorable moment was traveling down to Mexico and serving the people. While down there, my classmate Ryan and I used teamwork to remove a foreign body from a young girl's ear. When finished, the young girl was very excited to be able to hear again. But more importantly, she thanked us for not giving up on her. It brought a smile to both of our faces.
Stephen Lawson. My most favorable moment was convincing over half of the class to put their iPads down and go enjoy a day at the beach. Also playing pickleball with the Pickle Boys. Winning a gold medal with Blake. It only gets better and better. Racing horses on the beach with Carolyn and Ricky.
Luke Layton. Luke writes, my most memorable moment from a didactic year was going to Mexico and serving the patients alongside my classmates. These moments reminded me why I'm going into this profession, so I can work alongside a great team of people helping those who need compassionate care.
Chelsea Music. Chelsea's most memorable moment, it's now, making it to the jacketing ceremony. All the study and the class time with Gilda at ARMC and the many new relationships she created.
Alexander Nelson. Alex writes,
During a Zoom farm class within the first few weeks of school, shortly after Professor Wilson began class, I decided to do a nice stretch in my chair at home and scream at the top of my lungs. I wondered why it got quiet and realized my microphone was on. Sorry, Professor Wilson. I will also always remember singing John Denver's Country Road at the top of our lungs on late night taco runs while in Mexico for a mission trip. Team Craig forever.
Avon Kakamanian. Kevon's most memorable moments were treating patients at the Women's Health Clinic during the Mexico mission trip.
Brandon Pardosi. Brandon writes, my most memorable moment of didactic year is when Professor Geisfers told me that next time it was okay for me to leave class to pick up Kayvon when he had to walk to school.
Shelby Pfeiffer. Shelby writes, my most memorable moment was finding a family in my classmates and relying on each other when we needed help, but just someone to vent to.
Delina Pham. Delina writes, my favorite moment has been when my son came to one of our skills labs and was able to see what his mom has been doing for the past year.
Theodore Pham. Well, this is probably now his most memorable moment, but Theo writes, my favorite moment in PA school was being able to count on my best friends, Kanan Brown, Jason Hewling, and Delina Pham, being there for me, especially when we had 5 exams in 1 week, the passing of my dog, and the stress of every exam. I want to thank them and everyone who has supported me during this journey.
Sarai Zuniga Ramirez. Sarai writes, my most memorable moment has to be the mission trip to Ensenada, especially the clinic day. Seeing firsthand the difference that my friends and I were able to make in this community, knowing the impact that we will make in the future as PAs, made all the sacrifices, sleepless nights, and tears of the didactic year worth it.
Caleb Rowe. Caleb's most memorable moments were making friends and playing pickleball.
Diego Salas. Diego writes, my most memorable moment is being called Carlos for the last 9 months by classmates and faculty. I'm sorry.
Carlos Santana. Carlos' most memorable moment was being called Diego for the last 9 months by classmates and faculty. He also enjoyed getting to know everybody and feeling like they knew him.
Christine Topic. Christine writes, my most memorable moment of didactic year was attending the mission trip to Mexico. Not only did I learn so much about Ensenada's culture and lifestyle, but I had the pleasure of working alongside amazing classmates who I've grown to adore and respect. The kids in Ensenada taught me to be strong, mentally and emotionally, despite all the difficulties we may encounter. Mexico served as a reminder as to why I wanted to be a PA in the first place, and I'm thankful to have made it this far with these guys.
Foya Tavengary. Foya's most memorable moments were the second family that she found here in PA school, especially since they love to remind her that she's the baby of the class. She says, I'm thankful for my own loving family as well, and I wouldn't be here today without them.
Kyle Thayer. Kyle says his most memorable moment of didactic year was with the Pickle Boys. Breaking up difficult and stressful weeks on the pickleball court and acing first quarterfinals after worrying early on whether or not I would be able to make it through the program.
Maya Triplet. Maya's most memorable moments were the after-finals shenanigans at Breakfast Shack.
Brianna Vigil. Brianna says her most memorable moment is getting old with classmates. Hashtag babushka for life.
Ryan Widener. Ryan's most memorable moments were having clinic day during the Mexico trip.
Grace Yoon.
Grace says her most memorable moment or moments is the lifelong friends I've made. And let's just give one final big applause for the class of 2022. If anyone has any good stories they'd like to share or pictures they'd like to take, we're still taking some photos, so we're in a slight holding pattern and then we'll move on with our program. I'm sure Professor Milliron can give a lecture. You guys want one last lecture?
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome back. Everybody is done with the photos. So I would like to introduce myself. My name is Shannon Rivera, and I am one of the didactic professors. And I don't know if everybody can hear me. Okay, now. And this is Erin. It is a great honor and privilege to be able to read the PA Pledge of Dedication. So I'm going to ask everybody to please repeat after me. So in the presence of family, friends, instructors, classmates, and the Almighty God, I pledge as I enter this profession to serve respectfully and compassionately all who come to me, regardless of race, color, creed, or socioeconomic status. To treat all who come to me with the best of my knowledge and expertise. To cherish and hold, inviolate to trust of my patients and my employing physician. To practice within the parameters established by my employing physician, institution, and state. To educate patients in the development of a wellness-promoting lifestyle. To promote understanding of the physician-assistant profession among physicians, co-workers, and patients. To engage in activities which promote ethical and professional standards for all physician assistants. To conduct myself in a professional manner with all patients entrusted to my care. To participate in the education of physician assistant students and other student health care providers. To continue to pursue and increase my knowledge of medicine. To honor the commitments I have made to my employing physician and to myself.
to preserve confidentiality, to bring honor and pride to the physician assistant profession and to those who have taught me this art.
To bring honor and pride to the physician assistant profession and to those who have taught me this art.
And you guys can go ahead and sit with your families again while we close.
I'll ask everyone to have a seat for just a moment, if we could, please. We want to thank you all for being here this evening and showering love on these students who so much deserve it. We also want to close in prayer. So if I could ask you each to bow your heads. Father God, to whom all hearts are open, all desires are known, and from whom no secrets are hid. It's no secret to you that every student here has desired this day over almost all others. They planned for it, worked for it, invested countless sleepless nights for it. And now, supported by family and lifted up by friends, cheered on by one another, they leave with a hard-earned emblem of their success, a white jacket. That jacket was earned, gracious Father, but I ask tonight that they would leave with more. May they leave with things not earned, but given out of your own abundance. These gifts, O Lord, I ask for the class of 2022. May they have hands that are gentle, reaching out to the sick and weary, able to embrace with compassion. May they have eyes that see deeply, looking beyond appearances to the image of the divine within. May they have ears that are attentive, hearing not just a chief complaint, but the soul story of those they serve. May they have tongues that are disciplined, speaking truth into injustice, oppression, and exploitation. May they have minds that think clearly, recalling with precision, exploring with excitement, and connecting the dots with clarity and confidence. And may they have hearts that are pure, placing the needs of others above the desires of self. These things we ask, gracious Father, in the name of Him who came to seek and save the lost. Amen. We're done. Congratulations.
Hard worker, girl. Oh, thank you. I know. I got I was like, what is this? You deserve it. You deserve it. Thank you. I'll see ya. Yes.
I gave a hug. I'll give you more hugs. So girls, I'll give you a hug yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy. Thanks for coming.
Say hi.
Recuerdo, Jeremy. Excellent work, man. Good to see you. You'll have to share some of the stuff with you. Some of the what? Some of the pictures and videos. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Congrats, man. It's exciting. Yeah.
She hears me all the time.
Mr. Miller.